welcome along to Up Next, our regular Rovers round table, looking ahead to a huge Sunday afternoon in the sunshine, we hope, against Batley, and reflecting on our last time out against Leigh, and indeed the last month since the trip to Tottenham, with Martin Vickers, the Rovers chief exec, the boss man, Brian McDermott, and the current captain of the Rovers side, Matty Wildie. Where should we start? Should we start with the last game? In fact, we can have a look at the last month. Brian, you've talked a lot this season about learning and want to learn. Have you done more learning in the last month than in the season so far, bearing in mind you've played the Centurions twice during that time?
Yep, we've learned some tough lessons as well. So we've had a couple of games in between playing Leigh, a couple of games straight after Leigh, and then just played Leigh recently. And gone well in some games, and then against Leigh on the two times, the final and the league game. Sometimes you just got to cut the crap a little bit. We just haven't been good enough, and they've been better than us, and they've been better than us in a couple of really specific areas which we thought this is where the game's going to be won or lost, and that's where they beat us. So it's an interesting one because we spent for the majority so far this year, or most of this year, leading the league, and now we're chasing. And while we'd rather be leading, and we'd rather have beat Leigh in both games, there's some merit in chasing as well, and we've got clarity now that right here, right now, we know that we're chasing Leigh, and we have that determination about us. So there's a bit more in it than just that. I'm trying to simplify everything that's gone over the last month, but I think over the two tests we've had against Leigh over the last month, we've failed in each test, and we're not shying away from that fact.
Matty, you're nodding away there. You were out in the middle in those games. How have you seen it from a player's perspective, and how have you responded to what Brian's been saying to you over the last few weeks?
Yeah, before we played Leigh, we'd had a few games before that, and probably thought we were in a better place than we was. We come up against Leigh, and we know that we simply weren't good enough in areas that Max just spoke about, and we knew that we needed to improve to play him in the league again a few weeks down the line from Tottenham, and we did improve a little bit, but still not good enough, and it's way off where we want to be. So we've got a good couple of weeks again before we play him again at the Summer Bash, and we're going to be working hard in training every week to get better and be where we want to be.
Martin, how's it been looking on from your office, or wherever you do your day-to-day business the last few weeks? I actually watched the final down in Tottenham alongside you on the bench. That was quite an experience. I thought I was a bad watcher. Blimey, you live and breathe it, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I'm a bad watcher, and like everybody on this bench, we're bad losers, and I mean that in a sporting sense, not from a sportsmanship sense. But look, I think the mantra's always been around this club that we've got the grand finals at the end of September, and we're middle of June, and in the same way that Brian and the guys are going to be preparing themselves for the long haul, that's what we're doing. We know everything off the field's good. It just doesn't change because of a couple of losses. I would say from a fan's perspective, I think, and that's all I class myself as here, is actually accepting all the things that Brian and Matty have said about, things not being right in terms of the game. There was times in both those games where we had chances, so it wasn't like we were blown away, and I was at my most vocal, I think, the other Monday night when it got to within 6 points, because, it was close. So it's not like we're starting here from kind of a long, long way back from Leigh. And when we talk about timing our runs, well, yeah, we've had 2 games. I know we've got a really committed group of players and coaching staff. I know that they do listen and learn and take things into consideration moving forward. So yeah, let's get prepared for 2 more big games against.
What I do think, one of the things I like about the dynamic between you and this man sitting here is how much you argue about stuff. And we did one breakfast event, didn't we, just before going down to Tottenham, and you were very vocal about how things were going to go and, you know, how important it was to win. And Brian was straight with, of course we want to win, but you know what, it's not the worst thing if we don't, as long as we learn something along the way.
Yeah, and look, that's a good, healthy, challenging relationship. Not just I have with the club, with Brian, and he'll have it with his players. I'll have it with the chairman, and that's how you improve, isn't it? That's how you improve, if you're able to air your thoughts and views. I've never worked with a coach who hasn't kept me more up to speed with the game plan, the pre-season, the kind of end-of-season strategy. So I feel more informed as ever as a CEO kind of running this club in terms of the game plan. Certainly I've had long chats since the league games with Brian and the chairman and others about things, and I have every confidence in his game plan. You know, I can remember, you know, being with Brian when we won the grand final with Toronto. I can remember we had an horrendous result at Toulouse where they put 40 odd past us, and you know, whilst the gap wasn't like that with Lee, there's some synergy about just not buckling under and just kind of thinking, oh, I'll be all doom and gloom. You look at the quality of our team, you look at the potential to kind of go to another level. You know, we've got everything to look forward to. So I'm sure, you know, we're going to have a very good next phase of the season, and we'll probably fall out again when I say to Brian, I think we should definitely win Summer Bash, and he'll say, hang on, wait to the grand final, but that's good. That's a good thing.
Mood-wise, Matt, are you and the players, are you all good? I mean, your first answer kind of alluded to something along the lines of a reality check about where you thought you were and where you are. Often that can impact, you know, the way you are about stuff. But are you still kind of bouncing in here? Well, not so much bouncing on hot days like this, but, you know, still keen to get involved in everything that's going on?
Yeah, obviously we're really disappointed with the results, and we like to be winning them games, but we've got a group that are willing to learn, willing to work hard, and we're a tight group as well, and no matter what the result is, we stick together and help each other out and try and get the best for everyone. So yeah, we're still coming in every training session and trying to get better each week.
There's been some movement recruitment wise. Brian, maybe start with you on that. 2 players you've been very keen to bring in, the 2 Jacks. What were the conversations between you and Martin like, and why were you so keen to bring these 2 guys in?
Well, as I've always said about recruitment, there's never a start and a stop point to it. You're always looking at the market, you're always looking at your team. I don't think we've had a horrendous injury list, but we've had a constant injury list since the start of the year. And, you know, we get a couple of blokes back, and then it's another 2 that goes missing for 3 or 4 weeks. And I think, you know, we've always been teaching on the edge of if we just get another couple of injuries, we're not going to be able to name a 17 here. So that added to the fact that I'm putting my own imprint on the squad, and I'm choosing players for the team and picking team. And, you know, some blokes have gone out on loan since the start of the year. The squad's rotated a little bit, and that's what every coach does when he comes into an organisation, comes into a team. Is select the players and pick the team and recruit and retain players based on his playing philosophies, and that's how it's got to be. But, you know, in the early stages of any coach's reign, it gets a bit turbulent when that squad's turning around. And I think we've handled that really well, and it has been quite. There's been some moving and coming and going with the squad. And just to cover off some of the injuries that we've had Jack Broadbent on the radar for a while. We've been talking to the Rhinos about him and where it might be, and that conversation's rumbled on for a while. And it's been a good decision to bring him in. And Jack Ashworth is another guy that we've had on the radar once again. We've been having dialogue. Ian Watson's been very, very good with the club, and Huddersfield have been very good in letting him come to us. But you know, missing the likes of Rhett Ferris in and out with injuries, and Josh Hardcastle for a long while, and Jesse for a long while with injuries. It's an area, especially in back row, that we've been skinny for probably all year. So You know, Jack Bussey, I thought we massively missed against Lee, and he's another one that's been one of our standout performers, especially as he's gone the back row. So, you know, those blokes will come in. It gets a bit interesting when some of the injured guys get back from injury about what I do, whether I keep with the lone players, and if they're playing well enough and they're doing a job, they'll stick with the team.
You were raving to me about Ashworth in particular, Matty, about what a prospect he is.
Yeah, he's a big body. Something that we've probably missed him over the last couple of weeks. He's a big, strong ball carrier, and he's got a bit of aggression about him as well. So he'll definitely slot in really well here, and looking forward to see how it goes.
And this recruitment, this kind of mini recruitment drive, Martin, if you like, is that timing wise as a result of losing to Lee twice in the last month, or is this just an evolution of what yours and Brian's plan is, which was going to happen through the year anyway, as Brian says, putting an imprint on the squad?
Well, I think it's some of that, and also out of necessity, you know, with some of the injuries that we have at this moment in time. So, yeah, I think we're not a club that's awash with tens of thousands of pounds. So, you know, we have to be very clinical in how we do recruit. So, you know, I'm sorry to see like players moving on like Tom Holmes and Kyle Trout over the last month, but that's what we have to do. You know, if we have to go again off the field, we have to be as fleet of foot off the field with what we do as we are on it. So yeah, there's still room for manoeuvre for Brian, you know, because that is right. What he said earlier about it's always been a season-long strategy around recruitment and so on, but it's not a direct response to Lee. It's about being equipped for the rest of the season to deal with the losses we've got now and the challenges, be that Lee or any other team, you know, be that Batley on Sunday.
I think it's absolutely black and white, not a reaction to Lee. You know, in Lee we lost Craig Kopchak and he ripped his pec off, and I don't, you know, let's hope he plays again this year, but it's very doubtful he's going to play again this year. Lockie's got a broken thumb, Jesse's got a torn calf, Josh Hardcastle's out and just about coming back. We've got some significant people missing. And when we lost Lockie, there was a conversation straight after that we've got to go get some bodies in. It was not about the loss. It's absolutely not about the loss. The nature of the loss was to do with the people that were on the field. You know, that's what we got to do as a coach. That's what I've got to do as a coach, is make those blokes on the field execute some of those tough moments in the game better than that. But the truth is, you can't go through a season with 18 fit players because they're not going to be fit. 20% of your squad, no matter how big your squad is, 20% of it's injured all year. Maybe not the same blokes. There's about 20% you don't get to choose from.
Playing with knackered ribs for a few weeks, hasn't it? And that in itself is it's just one of those examples where, and there's another couple there who have been going back out on the field. Brett Ferris returned from injury. You know, I think his was a broken thumb earlier than what we anticipated. So a few blokes who were on the field of an already depleted injured squad who were playing busted as well. Craig Kopchak's never got over his knee injury, truly, because he rushed back and then he got a bang straight on the bone. A load of fluid came onto what was already an injured knee. And I could tell in the game against Lee, it wasn't his best he's ever played for Feathers. But to be fair to the bloke, I thought he went into the game busted and a bit fatigued because of, you know, Junior Moores, for instance, played 80 minutes against Lee. I think he's one of the good stories, Junior. He's found a bit of a spring in his step, got himself fit. He's incredibly fit for a big man. But the truth is, between him and Lockie, they've been doing a hell of a lot of tackles for 80 minutes, same as this guy. And we haven't been able to rotate the squad and keep it fresh. And I haven't been able to get blokes off after 55 minutes of a game that we're winning comfortably. I'm having to keep the same blokes on the field. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a chew through that. So the recruitment that we've got is to do with the blokes who are fit, and it's to do with the amount of game time that some of the players are playing. Before we look ahead to up next, which is Batley, Sunday, can I ask you a little bit about player reaction, which is something you've talked about on this before. You've talked in glowing terms about the way Brandon Pickersgill reacted when Mark Carella came in, for example. Morgan Smith, Connor Jones, they're upturning for. Can I ask how Craig Hall has been since he's been taken out of the team? How he has responded to that?
His response has been great. I think he's pitched it perfectly as well. And I don't think any of it's disingenuous. He's but I also know he's incredibly disappointed. I had a beer with a few of the players the night after the final, and you end up having a conversation with. It's more of an informal conversation, which you would never do, under normal circumstances. And it doesn't go too far. We don't tell each other that we love each other or anything like that. But you just have a bit of a reflection on where. And he's played a million games, Ollie. I've been around the game for a while, and we're just talking about just in general things. And he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I ended up talking to his dad, who's an ex-OKR player, and we're just talking about pre-Super League, and sat down with him for about an hour or so. And then I think I dropped in the next game. And or maybe it wasn't the next game, it was the game after that. And that's just the harsh reality of business that you've got to do. And if you've got some honest relationship with people and you have some honest, genuine conversation where you don't fluff them up, players will catch it out for line like that. They might have to get on with it. They might have to say, yeah, okay, coach, and walk off, and they can't say anything to you because you're head coach. But they'll catch it out line like that. So you've got to be honest with them. Sometimes being honest with the players, giving them information that they don't necessarily want to hear. Now, you can give it in a nature that doesn't kill them, doesn't blow their legs off, but the truth is, Hawley's been out of the team for the last 2 weeks. He hasn't been playing how I think he can play, and how I want him to play for the team. This is not about Craigo. It's about what we need him to do for the team. And he hasn't been doing that. And he's been left out. And it's always been explained to him that, look, I'll go out and say this, I don't think we're going to do anything special this year without having Hawley somewhere near the team. He's such a good player for us. His response and how he's handled it has been great. He's been great, and none of it's been disingenuous. He's a genuine team player, but these are some of the decisions you've got to make.
That's fantastic to hear. Should we talk for the last couple of minutes about Sunday? Well, and how much are you looking for? If this weather's nice, it should be a right afternoon here, shouldn't it?
Yeah. We've got lots of stuff in readiness for Sunday, but firstly, we're playing a good team, so, and we've got some kind of things to put right. This is a team that took a point off us, so, and they're a team riding high at the top of the table, near the top of the table on a good winning run. So, it's a good challenge for the team. And so all our fans can look forward to not a blowout, but what should be an exciting kind of game for all the supporters. In terms of the things we're doing, as always, we work hard to kind of make it a great day. So we've got the women's game at 12 o'clock before, where they're playing Lee Miners. So we'll try and get some minor revenge on Lee if we can, through the women's team. I'm really pleased to see Featherstone Male Voice Choir singing before, and people might say, well, Martin's getting all kind of operatic, but what it was when I first came to the club in COVID, there's a group of 40 men who couldn't work together or train together, and and it was causing all kinds of issues for them as blokes personally and everything else. So we let them sing in our stands during COVID, all socially distanced, and this is their way of repaying the club. They're going to come and sing before the game. I won't be as kind of emotional as I was when I was at Tottenham, but yeah, but that's great. That's everything what this club's about. So I will be very proud to see that. You can come to watch both games for a fiver if you're in before the women's game at 12 o'clock. You've got 3,000 school kids who we've given free tickets to. If the mum and dad come with them, it's just 10 quid. And all I'll say is, if you've got school kids out there and your school hasn't given you this free ticket, and either your head teacher's a Cass fan or you need to get onto your school tomorrow, because I can tell you we've contacted every one of those schools, So 3,000 kids, all with a free ticket in the hand. Let's hope just, half of them turn up, and we'll have another bumper crowd on Sunday. So you can never stop in this job in some kind of just resting your laurels and think, well, what about Lee and this, that. We've got a big game against Batley, and we're working hard. Sure, it's another great family event.
Get yourself down, pop up to the gantry and have a go at commentary with me if you like. Final word from you, Matty. How much you've had a week off? How much are you looking forward to getting back into it?
Yeah, well, I've got a couple more weeks off.
You have, haven't you? I forgot about your man,
which is disappointing. But we'll be we're straight back in on Monday, and we did a bit of a tough session, another tough session tonight, and we'll be ready for Batley, who are a really good team on Sunday. So
you're going to be commentating with me then?
I'm not too sure.
He'll be practicing his tackle technique on Sunday.
Is that right? I suppose what you'll want, Brian, is for him to have a battle to get his place back in a couple of weeks when he's available again.
Yeah. If I'm having a tough conversation with Matty, it's a good thing. Yeah. Absolutely.
A final word from you then. What are you looking forward to seeing from your side after a mini break come this weekend?
I think we've been. I thought Martin captured it really well, better than I could. I think we're in reasonable shape. But Batley are one of the better performing teams in the league. I think their attack is very good. I really do respect their attack. What the coach has done with them, Lingard's has done with them, I think it's a really good example of coaching, demonstration of coaching. And we're going to have to be really good defensively. We dropped off in D over the last 6 weeks. We're broken down too easily. We go through big periods where we're strong, but then we concede some soft tries, and I've been conceding some soft tries. And we're going to have to get that back quickly to keep a Batley out there very good with the ball.
Any final words from you, Martin?
No, just a big message to fans is, look, I was stood amongst the fans at Leigh, really proud of their support of this club, and I enjoy watching the games more with our supporters than just sat in a stuffy corporate environment and so on, because I love...
Sat alongside me on the bench.
I sat with you, but it's just the passion that the fans feel for the club. I was interested in Brian's. I've had letters to me this week about why if I can give them a full detailed explanation about why Craig Hall wasn't picked, and thank God I didn't try to reply. But actually, that's why we're here. We're backed by some great supporters. It's a great experience and ride that we're on, and everybody's just got to keep that kind of spirit going. And I always say about Post Office Road and the Millennium Stadium that, like, apparently from one end to the other there's a 5-foot drop, and Featherstone people are used to always playing uphill, and they're used to always having a steep challenge to deal with, and that's all we've got. It's just another one in the history of the club that I'm sure we'll work really hard to try and overcome.
Martin, great to see you. Brian, always a pleasure. Matty as well. Thank you. We hope to see you on Sunday. Come down for the double header. Tickets very, very well priced this week. Thanks for watching. Up next, we will see you Sunday, and we'll see you here next time.